Script: Israel expands invasion into southwest Lebanon. Scene 1. Intro. Breaking news. Opening with intense footage of military operations, explosions, and troops mobilizing along the Israel-Lebanon border. Dramatic music underscores the urgency. Text on screen: Israel expands invasion into southwest Lebanon. Host: serious, urgent tone. Good evening. We begin with breaking news from the Middle East, where Israel has expanded its military operations into southwest Lebanon. This significant escalation follows ongoing hostilities with Hezbollah and has raised concerns of a broader conflict in the region. Tonight, we'll take you inside the latest developments. Scene 2. Current situation. Show animated maps of the region highlighting key locations of military activity and conflict zones. Host: informed. Israeli forces have intensified their campaign against Hezbollah strongholds in the southern Lebanese regions. According to the Israeli Defense Forces (IDF), the goal is to neutralize rocket launch sites and dismantle Hezbollah's military infrastructure, which has been a persistent threat to northern Israel. The military operation is reported to involve ground troops, artillery strikes, and air support. Scene 3. Footage of military operations. Dramatic footage of Israeli tanks and soldiers advancing alongside aerial shots of targeted areas in Lebanon. Include clips of explosions and military aircraft. Host: serious. Footage from the ground shows armored divisions moving deeper into Lebanon, engaging in direct confrontations with Hezbollah militants. Reports indicate heavy fighting in the area, with both sides exchanging fire. Israeli airstrikes have targeted suspected Hezbollah facilities, leading to significant destruction and casualties. Scene 4. Hezbollah response. Footage of Hezbollah fighters preparing for combat, military parades, and statements from Hezbollah leaders. Host: authoritative. In response to Israel's military escalation, Hezbollah has vowed to retaliate. Leaders of the group have made statements declaring their commitment to defend Lebanon against what they describe as Israeli aggression. This marks a dangerous turn in the conflict, with the potential for wider regional implications if fighting escalates further. Scene 5. Civilian impact. Footage of civilians in southern Lebanon, including families fleeing conflict areas and emergency services responding to damage. Host: empathetic. The civilian population is bearing the brunt of this escalating conflict. Many families in southern Lebanon are fleeing their homes, seeking shelter in safer areas. Humanitarian organizations are warning of a looming crisis, with thousands potentially displaced as the fighting continues. Hospitals are also bracing for an influx of casualties, adding strain to an already fragile healthcare system. Scene 6. International reactions. Clips of international leaders addressing the situation, United Nations meetings, and protests in various countries regarding the conflict. Host: concerned. The international community has reacted with alarm as tensions escalate. The United Nations has called for immediate de-escalation, urging both sides to return to diplomatic negotiations. Meanwhile, world leaders are expressing concern over the potential for a broader regional conflict, emphasizing the need for restraint and dialogue to prevent further loss of life. Scene 7. Analyst perspective. Cut to an interview with a Middle East expert analyzing the implications of the conflict and potential outcomes. Middle East expert: serious. The expansion of Israeli military operations into Lebanon marks a significant escalation in a long-standing conflict. The dynamics here are complex, involving regional powers and local grievances. The potential for a wider war looms, especially if Hezbollah decides to engage in a full-scale retaliation. The situation could destabilize not just Israel and Lebanon but the entire region. Scene 8. Closing remarks. Final shots of military activity on both sides, civilians affected by the conflict, and a call for peace. Fade to a graphic showing emergency hotlines and aid organizations. Host: somber. As the conflict unfolds, our thoughts are with those caught in the crossfire. The escalating violence underscores the urgent need for diplomacy and peace efforts to restore stability in the region. We will continue to monitor this developing story and provide updates as more information becomes available. Text on screen: Stay informed, subscribe for real-time updates. C9. Outro. Soft music fades in as the screen cuts to black with text. This is a developing story. More updates to follow. End of script.